This is QTV News. I am Ansumana Esonyasi and thanks for joining us. Our top stories: Denmark, Omani and Korean ambassadors meet Barrow. New ambassadors pledge their country's cooperation with the Gambia. Major Fati tells TRRC, "I tortured Sergeant Trawale, Peter shot him." Witness denies participating in November 11th executions. April 2000 massacre commemoration. Victims, students and activists gather to remember the killing of 14 students. Those are our main stories, and now the news in detail. More ambassadors continue to present their letters of credence to President Adama Barrow. This week, 6 ambassadors have so far presented their credentials. Alusise reports.
Excellencies Marian Kresfugi of Denmark, Abdullah Mohammed Suleiman Almari of Oman, and Won Sok Choi of Republic of Korea were the latest to present their letters of credence to President Barrow on Wednesday at the State House in Banjul. They spoke to waiting reporters shortly after presenting their credentials to Barrow. The new ambassadors, as the ones before them, pledged their country's cooperation with the Gambia.
I'm very impressed by the whole development since the president took over power of the Gambia, the way that the country has developed since then. And Denmark is engaged to continue our relationships. Denmark is mostly engaged via our support to the European Union and all the investment the European Union is doing here in the Gambia. And we also, of course, support the UN's engagements here. And then, of course, we have private sector here. We have Danish private companies who are here to work and to support the development in Gambia.
We have a very historical relation, and it's a very good relation, actually. And the intention is to improve the relation and develop it in different ways for the best and the better of the people of Gambia and Oman, and for the best of the government.
It is my great pleasure to have presented the letter of credence this morning. And as ambassador of the Republic of Korea, I will do my best to promote the cooperation between my country and the Republic of Korea. Yes, Korea, my government has every willingness to support the Republic of Gambia. So, for example, last year we financed the UNODC's project to improve the criminal justice system of your country. And from this year, we are now financing the UNESCO's project to improve vocational and professional training system of your country. So the Korea is there to help your country in economic development, in political development.
Marian Kresfugi of Denmark will be based in Bamako, Mali, while Abdullah Mohammed Suleiman Almari of Oman and Won Sok Choi of Korea will be based in Dakar. Reporting for QTV News, I am Alusise.
Major Lamin Fati of the Gambia Armed Forces Wednesday testified as a witness at the ongoing Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission's public hearings. His testimony was in relation to the November 11 incident and the assassination of former Finance Minister Usman Korosise in June 1995. In his testimony, the witness denied participating in the extrajudicial execution of officers at the Nyambai forest in Brikama after they were arrested in the aftermath of the foil coup. His name has been adversely mentioned by previous witnesses who testified in connection to the November 11 incident. He also refuted allegations that he participated in the torture of Kopul Kebe, Sergeant Trawale, AIG Chongan, RSM Jeng and other officers. Further testifying, the witness accused he participated in the torture of Maudun Njai and corroborated evidence levied in testimonies by previous witnesses that he put Kopul Kebe in the boot of a car at the time of his arrest on the 13th of November 1994.
Maudun Njai.
Proceed, please.
Whilst going towards the clinic, I saw Njai coming with 2 soldiers, I cannot remember. Then I joined them. I personally told Njai to crawl.
Apart from telling Jai to crawl, did you do anything to him?
Yeah, he crawled. While he was crawling, I kicked him.
And butt struck him?
No, I was not before. I was not armed at that point.
Were you the only one who kicked him?
I kicked him. Peter kicked him. Well, apart from Peter, I don't see anybody. I personally kicked him.
Did he sustain injuries?
Peter fired him on his leg.
He shot him on his leg?
Yes, on his
leg. That's
leg.
what you said?
Yes.
Did he sustain any injuries?
He sustained injuries.
On the alleged assassination of Usman Korosise, the witness said he was an orderly to Lieutenant Edward Singate, but denied having any knowledge of what happened to the former finance minister.
I went with Edward again with Maro, and then I think the same driver, Abdul Balajo. When we arrived on the ground, that was another serious day. From that day, I hate to become orderly. Then I reduced my stairs. That's why I was even transferred, I believe. Because people, what they were saying, like they were insulting, saying all sorts of things.
Tell us exactly what you heard.
They were insulting, you are here, killers, this, that. If you don't come.
What is this, that? Tell us what you heard.
I cannot repeat everything. We are killers, and without we course coming, they are not going to bury this corpse. I can fully remember one verse, in fact, was saying, plainly with Mike.
Saying what?
Saying that, yes, this is your corpse, it's here. Without you, we are not going to bury it. And Imam Jaite, Al Jaite, reiterated that to Edward.
So
if we don't come, we are not going to bury this man.
Yeah, but you were already there.
Yes.
So what was the suggestion that was being made by all these speakers?
That it was killed by the council. That's the notion.
Meanwhile, the witness was shown evidence presented by various TRC witnesses who alleged he participated in their arrest, detention, or torture, but he denied those allegations, saying they are baseless. Meanwhile, in another testimony, former orderly of ex-President Jammeh on Tuesday admitted to participating in the execution at Nyamai Forest in Brikama of some of the victims of the November 11, 1994 foil coup. Babukar Mbub made this disturbing revelation while testifying via a Skype call at the ongoing Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission's public hearings. Testifying via a Skype call, former Army officer Babukar Mbub, who served as orderly to ex-President Jammeh from 1996 to 2004, Tuesday testified in relation to the November 11 incident in which more than a dozen officers of the Gambia Armed Forces were allegedly summarily executed. During his testimony, the witness admitted to have participated in the execution of soldiers that took place at the Nyambai Forest in Brikama on the 10th of November 1994.
I stopped in Fafanyang's house, the late Fafanyang's house, just to say hello because he was a family friend also. So when we came, my wife and our baby, even I myself also, we were all sitting in the living room, just ready to chat. That's when the late Fafanyang called me into his bedroom. So I left my wife in this room and go and answer to him in the bedroom. That's when Fafanyang disclosed to me that they're planning to stage a coup. They're planning to stage a coup d'etat. And then he asked me to join. Then I asked him, what are the plans and who are the members of this coup who are planning this coup. But he declined not to tell me who the coup plotters are, who are the leaders, and what are the plans.
Further testifying, the witness accused he was informed by Lieutenant Fafanyang on the 9th of November 1994 that plans were afoot to overthrow the APRC junta.
Sana Sabali ordered them to come out and they ordered them to kneel down, give their back and kneel down. And when they did that, we were also ordered, all of us except, all of us at that time, I could say. I know there were some other soldiers because I can still remember seeing Lieutenant Kejau Ture and Lieutenant Sergeant George Cisse standing aside. I did not see them on the line, on our extended line. And then
okay.
moving.
Were you on the extended line?
I was.
Okay, proceed, please.
And after that, when he told us to form an extended line, I was actually in front of the line going to the far left to give room to the others. Then that's the time actually one of the officers was trying to say something, and Sana Sabali cut him short and screamed at us, all those who were on that extended line. I did not know who and who were there because I was the one in front. They were on my back, so I don't know who and who were in front. Then that's the time Sana Sabali screamed at us and said, "Hey!" When he said that, that's exactly when the firing started. We opened fire on them, and we opened fire on them, and then it was like a matter of seconds. I would say from 1 to 2 seconds. All these captured officers were down on the ground.
Did you fire?
Then we were ordered. Yes, I did.
On the infamous allegation that he executed the late Sergeant E.M. Cisse, the witness denied participating in his execution, accusing he was not present when E.M. Cisse was executed. He also alleged he was present when Lieutenant Edward Singate ordered for Fafanyang's execution. Asked what he made of the suggestion that Lamin Koli had accidentally fired the shot that killed Fafanyang, the witness denied it was an accidental discharge, alleging that Koli had intentionally killed Fafanyang. It's exactly 19 years ago when the Gambia Students' Union, infuriated over government's delay in investigation and action, resorted to staging a nationwide demonstration to demand justice for two of their colleagues, a female student who had reportedly been raped and a boy beaten by the Gambia firefighters, leading to his death. The survivors on Monday were joined by students and activists to commemorate the day with a march past and speeches while renewing their call for justice and compensations. They also call on the government to repeal the Indemnity Act. Bob Garcia reports.
The April 2000 Gambian student massacre was the killing of 14 students by Gambian police officers and soldiers on the 10th of April 2000 at a student protest. The protest had been called following two separate incidents: the beating to death of a secondary school student, Ibrahim Bari, by firefighters, and the rape of 13-year-old girl by a uniformed police officer. And the lack of investigation of both of those incidents. Abdukarim Jame, a victim who was shot on his left knee, was admitted at the Den Royal Victoria Teaching Hospital for 4 months. He appreciates the support from friends and family members, which he claims is the reason why some of them are still mentally strong.
This was the day 14 of our colleagues were shot dead in broad daylight by our own security forces, which supposed to be there protecting us. Instead of protecting us, shooting and killing 14 of our colleagues. So it's historical. It's a tragic day, definitely. But when we think again, we thank God, because I'm one of the survivors. And thank God, I'm still alive. I think it's because of, simply Gambia is a religious country. That is why, if not, most of us would have gone crazy. But, thank God, we are within a religious people. Gambia is definitely a religious country. So that is why. And we were guided by friends, families, encouraging us to be strong, to give us courage that, this is not the end of the life. So that was the courage we are receiving from our family members and friends. That is why, we are still conscious and not to go mad. But, it was very tough for us.
Another victim, Yusuf Ambai, now wheelchaired due to the shooting, recalled that the incident met him when he was attending classes at the Pipeline Comprehensive School. He recalled what happened on April 10, 2000.
This day is a very important day to us because it's the day where our lives do change. Yeah, it seems that we are born again because a day like this you went to school on your feet and then you wake up and you find yourself being hospitalized with a gunshot. So it's a very sad day to us now, actually.
What can you recall? What really happened on the 10th of April?
On the 10th of April, it was on Monday, and we were on assessment test on that day. So we went to school. So the students came to the school and they asked us to go out because the Gambian students are protesting because of a female student was raped at the Independence Stadium during the Gambia inter-schools competition, and a female student was tortured to death. So they organized a student protest. So we came out, and during the student protest, I was unfortunately I was shot on that day. Nothing has been changed because the former regime, at least, they took us to overseas treatment twice. I went to overseas treatment twice, and this new regime, they promised me they will take us to overseas treatment, but nothing has been done since then. Nothing has been done. So I think the priority we deserve as the victims have not been given to us. Yeah.
What message will you have for the government of the day?
They should consider us and they fulfill their promises, because they made so many promises to us, and yet still nothing has been done.
19 years today, not a single person was brought before a court to face justice. The victims are still knocking on the doors of the government to bring the perpetrators to face justice, with the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, as part of its mandates, will investigate and bring to light the injustice that took place on the 10th and 11th. Mustafa Kah is a commissioner at the ongoing TRRC.
TRRC takes all these matters seriously, not just the April 10th and victims. We take all these matters seriously. As a matter of fact, you know, we've had discussions. I've discussed these things with a lot of my fellow commissioners, and they really want to help. They really want to make sure that we have some form of justice for this. But also, what people should not forget is that the TRRC is an ongoing process. Now, what we are doing is to investigate what is happening, and it's chronological. Like, we are investigating based on the years that have happened. We've already investigated the July 1994 coup, the reasons why it happened. We are currently investigating the November 11th incident, and we will eventually get to the April 10th incident. And I hope that we would have the victims to come and testify, because, but already the TRRC is helping, especially with the medical treatment. I know already the executive secretary has worked on a list with the victim center to undergo some medical checkups. And once we receive the advice, we will hopefully see what we can do.
Madi Jobate, a human rights activist, said it is sad to continue commemorating the April 10-11 student massacre for 19 years and justice is still not served. He called on the government of the day to do justice to the victims and quickly repeal the Indemnity Act.
They should do justice. One, repeal the Indemnity Act. That is a bad law created to protect perpetrators. So repeal the Indemnity Act to remove any protection whatsoever for perpetrators and for to open the door for them to be held accountable. All right. But second, release the Commission of Inquiry report officially of 2000. Number three, provide urgent medical attention to surviving victims that continue to be in pain, in bed, on wheelchairs with crutches. Number four, provide them economic financial support. Some of these victims who are today adults, men and women, were children in 2000 going to school, and their school education was cut off, and consequently they've been maimed, and as a result they have been unable to find a source of living to get the necessary education and skills to earn a decent way of living. And today they live a life of poverty, of destitution. So it is important that urgently Gambia government provides support to these people.
The victims and their families are hoping perpetrators will face justice soon, and the nation is told the truth to enhance closure and reparations given to the needy. 19 years on, the pain memories of the incident still linger in the minds of the survivors. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
After successfully completing their peacekeeping mission in Sudan, Gamkoi 21 on Tuesday landed at the Banjul International Airport after a year's deployment to the troubled region of Darfur. The soldiers were received by senior army personnel and family members. Ibrahim Balde tells us more.
The Gambia contributes to the African Union United Nations Hybrid Operation in Darfur, referred to its acronym UNAMID. The purpose of the mission is to bring stability to the war-torn Darfur region of Sudan. The Gambia has been contributing troops to it since its inception in 2004. This contingent of returning soldiers comprises of 200. Addressing the returnees at the Banjul International Airport was Mohamed O. Cham, the Army commander, who represented the CDS. He thanked the soldiers and assured them of the authorities' full support.
Morale! How high? All right, thank you. On behalf of the Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambia Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Masane Kinte, and on behalf of His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Gambia Armed Forces, and on behalf of the officers and men of the Gambia Armed Forces, I happily welcome you back home after a successful one-year mission in Darfur. Welcome home and thank you for a job well done. The reports we had so far is that you've done extremely well. You've represented the Gambia, your country, and the armed forces amicably well. You've done very well and you deserve a pat on your back, and congratulations to every one of you.
He further said the soldiers should keep up the momentum and discipline they are known for as security personnel. The public relations officer of the Gambia Armed Forces also expressed his gratitude to the soldiers and thanked the Almighty for keeping them safe and sound during their stay in Darfur.
It's just with a deep sense of gratitude to Almighty Allah for having kept them safe and sound since their 1 year tour of mission came to an since last year. We thank God Almighty for having kept them safe and sound and having received them here on behalf of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, His Excellency Mr. Adam Barrow, the Chief of Defense Staff, and all the officers and men of the Gambia Armed Forces, as well as their family members. Therefore, it's not an easy region, especially with what they have gone through. They went as 208. And then, they were, in charge of the security of the force headquarters and the mission headquarters. And then all of a sudden, there was this information as to the need to draw down. And then, we had to repatriate 76 of our personnel. So which means the contingent had to adjust to a very tricky and complex situation. So that calls for, strategic planning and thinking. And we commend the officers, the contingent commander, and all his officers and men for having put up a brilliant performance. Like the Commander Gambia National Army said, there was no adverse report on their performance in terms of discipline, which is key in these kind of situations. And adjustments like this have a lot to have a serious bearing on the comportment and discipline of soldiers, because it means now, your lesser number, you still have to cope with the task that you have been assigned with, despite the fact that your numbers have been reduced. So this is one challenge that we know they had to contend with, but we appreciate and also show gratitude to Almighty Allah for having given them the courage and the fortitude to be able to take up their responsibility and keep the flag high.
Major Abdullah Mboub, second in command of the contingent, also spoke to QTV upon arrival.
The challenges in Darfur are numerous. Like I just said, seeing your family is one thing. The harsh weather conditions, the unending tasks that you have to fulfill as a soldier. These were some of the tasks that we faced. And sometimes it is not easy out there, but we thank Allah that we were able to accomplish our mission successfully.
Ibrahim Abalde, QTV News.
The Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital received donation of medical items from Open Hands Gambia Charity. The presentation, held on Tuesday at the hospital in Banjul, was presided over by the Minister of Health, Lamin Samate. Dinapa Sonko reports.
The Open Hands Gambia program started some 30 years ago in the streets of Banjul by Kenneth Njai, one-time chairman of the hospital board. The program offers sponsorships for trainings of midwives. They also provide solar panels for rural hospitals, as well as donate health supplies and equipment to hospitals. The items donated to the hospital included blood pressure machines, bandages, catheters, amongst others. Vice Chair of Open Hands Gambia, Femi Kunjai, presented the medical items on behalf of the charity.
The Open Hands Gambia has as its objects to relieve poverty advance education, and protect good health. And our ultimate aim is empowerment for sustainable development, reducing dependency, and giving dignity to individuals. All of this because we desire to share God's love. And so we come here today to offer our little in terms of hospital materials and equipment, which we hope and pray will go a long way to contributing to health delivery in the Gambia.
Speaking at the presentation, the Minister of Health, Lamin Samate, said the donation will go a long way towards providing standard health care for Gambian citizens. He stressed that Open Hands Gambia has been in partnership with the Ministry of Health for a long time now.
Well, these donations are very, very useful. As we've all seen just now, they contain dressing materials. We know hospitals, people come here with wounds every day, and everyday operations, take place in this hospital. And whether the wound was accidental or it was a surgical wound, thereafter we need dressing materials to dress the wound. So these are very useful and timely. Certainly they will add value to the services that we provide here. Now, the catheters, these are urinary catheters. Those are passed to allow for the passage of urine, and they are used in various circumstances. Patients who are unable to urinate by themselves need catheters, and sometimes we want to monitor the urine output itself. So we pass catheters for such patients. So these are daily used items in the health facilities. The BP machines are equally here, and certainly those help for us to be able to know the patient's blood pressure. This is very useful because as a routine check, we check patient's blood pressure to know whether it is within the normal limits. If it is not, then we know what to do. But without that, it can be of a challenge. So really, these are useful items that will add on to the ones we already have, and at least it will reduce the expenditure of government, on these items.
Samate further explained that the Health Ministry had inherited numerous challenges, but things are beginning to stabilize. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Basonko.
Meanwhile, charitable organization based in the UK donates 60 boxes of solar lamps to the community of Kotosilo Erinjang. The lamps will contribute immensely to the energy needs of the community. Ajibintu Drame has the rest of the story.
Excitement was written on everyone's face on seeing their saviors. For the past 12 years, Project Gambia, a UK-based charity, has been helping in many areas of the Gambia's economy, from education to agriculture to health. According to the organization, the aim of the project is to change lives, support and give children the opportunity to live better lives. Beef Hut, head of the project, speaks about the reason behind the donation and added that the locals of Erinjang should take good care of the donated materials.
Our motto is changing lives, including yours. So what we want to do is come in and help change lives in the Gambia, give people and children a lot more opportunities and support them and work in partnership with them to give them a better life. We want them to be able to use the solar lights because they're cheaper, so they're not paying money for candles every night, and also they're safer for the children because obviously the candles, the children could easily burn themselves or set fire things, and then the money that they rent, we want to go back into the community, and then the community will then decide themselves how they want to spend that money to improve the village here.
Norsal Alcalo of Kotu extends her gratitude to the charity. These people are here to help us. On behalf of the town, we really appreciate the generosity. Gaston Pereira, a resident of Erinjang, says, the charity has impacted a lot in their lives, especially the young people. He decried the challenges they face, especially during the night when the place becomes dark. He shows appreciation of their efforts and hope they continue to help.
Most of the time,
they've been bringing clothes, footballs, and lots of things for the children. This time around, they brought solar lights because at night everywhere gets pitch dark. We can't thank them enough for their help in our need.
Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
And before we end this bulletin, we recap our main stories. More ambassadors continue to present their letters of credence to President Adama Barrow. This week, 6 ambassadors have so far presented their credentials. Major Lamin Fati of the Gambia Armed Forces Wednesday testified as a witness at the ongoing Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission's public hearings. His testimony was in relation to the November 11th incident and the assassination of former Finance Minister Usman Korosite in June 1995. And it's exactly 19 years ago when the Gambia Students' Union, infuriated over government's delay in investigation and action, resorted to staging a nationwide demonstration to demand justice for 2 of their colleagues, a female student who had reportedly been raped and a boy beaten by the Gambia firefighters, leading to his death. That's it for this edition of the news. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs.